Hello, my name's Natasha and I was just about to go to bed and do a bit of reading on my Kindle, and I had the urge to actually do a little bit of, to record something. So I'm completely unprepared here, but I remember watching Ariel Bissett do the TBR tag months ago, I think it was now, and I decided that I would do that at some point, and clearly some point is this point right now. I've got the video up on my phone, so apologies if I keep looking down, but the first one is, how do you keep track of your TBR pile? This whole shelf behind me are unread books, so this is essentially my TBR pile of physical books. I have some ARCs from NetGalley and I keep an eye on that, and I also have a written list with the dates on for when I need to read each of those, and I don't keep anything with all of my digital copies. I don't keep track of those. They just sit there until I'm in the mood for something, and then I grab something. So they're a little bit unloved, to be honest. My focus of 2020 really is to read ARCs and as many of these shelves as I can, so I can actually have some decoration on my shelves rather than literally just books. But yes, I need to get a system for keeping track. I have a Kindle and a Kobo as well, so my books aren't all in one place. So you know, I like to make life difficult for myself, it seems. Oh, and the next question I kind of answered. It says, is your TBR mostly in print or ebook? And I would say print and ebook for my ARCs. The next question is, how do you determine which book from your TBR to read next? And essentially, mood. I'm a mood reader. Of course, ARCs have a publisher date, and so I try to read them in the order that they need to be published. But these books here are usually just what I'm in the mood for. I try to do some read-along challenge type things, but I can't do it. Or I've tried to get some books and create a list of TBR books, or pile of TBR books, and I don't really get to them because I literally will have changed my mood over the couple of days between finishing one book and coming to the pile for the others. So I just leave them all on the shelves, and it's a free-for-all, and I can have whatever book. I go for whatever book I'm in the mood for at the time. Okay, so a book that has been on my TBR the longest. Let me have a look. So this one I've had quite a long time. It's A Year of Marvellous Ways by Sarah Winman, and this apparently was Richard and Judy's book club for 2016. So I've looked at this a couple of times, I've picked up a few times but never actually read it. So I've had this one clearly for 4 years. And then I've got the Little Women letters, and I wanted to reread Little Women before I got to this, just to remind me, as a bit of a refresher. So and I still haven't done that, so I've never got around to this. And this one was published in, bear with me a second. So this one's the oldest. It was published in 2011. I don't think I bought it new. I think I bought it from a charity shop. So I would guess that I've had them both sort of 4 or 5 years, and I think that's probably some of the longest. A book that I recently added to my TBR. So I did a spring haul. I will link that in the cards thing. So most of those books are the most recent ones that I bought before sort of lockdown. Okay, so next is a book in your TBR strictly because of its beautiful cover. There were a couple of books when I did an unhaul recently that I wanted to keep just because the covers were cute, but I was a bit ruthless and I actually got rid of them. But I'll have a little look and I'll be back. I'm jumping back, but I've just found this, and this is Colleen Hoover's November 9, and this is actually the most recent book that I purchased for myself. And this actually only arrived about a week ago, so this is actually the most recent book on my TBR that I've purchased. I'm going to get back to looking for a book with a cover that it was the beautiful cover that drew me to it. Oh, that took a little bit longer than planned. This book drew me. I got this from a charity shop, and it drew my eye because it had sprayed edges, and that's always something that appeals to me, but also I think it's pretty beautiful and quite intricate. And this is called A Pinch of Magic, and it's by Michelle Harrison, and since looking into it I've really wanted to read it actually. 3 sisters trapped by an ancient curse, 3 magical objects with the power to change their fate. Will they be enough to break the curse, or will they lead the sisters even deeper into danger? And I think it's a really, really nice cover. The back's very nice, and I got this from a charity shop for £1. A book on your TBR that you never plan on reading. I recently did an unhaul of books that I had read, and then I did an unhaul of books that I had not read, and any books that I was planning on not reading, they were on there really. I'll have a quick check to see if there is anything that didn't make the cut that I planned to never read, but I think I would have got rid of that. But let me have a quick look. So there's nothing on the shelves that I would knowingly not read. That isn't the way that I work. I wouldn't keep them if I don't plan to read them. So I don't actually have any that I don't plan to read. There's just some that constantly get overlooked, but one day I would read them. So I don't have an answer for that one, I'm sorry. Okay, so an unpublished book on your TBR that you're excited for. So I've got a few arcs that I'm excited for. So let me just have a quick look at my NetGalley. I'm actually really excited about a few of these books. Most of them are romance. So I'm really looking forward. I've heard some great things about Beach Read by Emily Henry. I think, if I remember rightly, these are 2 people that they go to the beach in like adjacent properties, and they're both writers, and they each write in different ways, but they've got sort of writer's block, and I think it's like a hate to love type of story, and so they each write in the style that the other person does, or write something for them, and it all kind of goes from there really. But I'm really excited by that because I quite like enemies to lovers or hate to love sort of storylines. It kind of gets me. It feels all the more sweet when they get together, when they dislike each other. Or I quite like that sort of spark that's there because they're so passionate about disliking each other. But you know, if you really are not that arsed about someone, you're quite like, oh, just not arsed. But the fact that they passionately, they wind them up in such a way, and I don't know, it's just so close to love. I find it quite enjoyable to read about. I'm not a very volatile person, and I often wish that I had more of a spark or that sort of thing in my nature. I don't really argue or anything like that. So but I quite like it when there's couples who are a little bit witty with each other and they kind of bicker a little bit, and it's quite funny. And yeah, so I'm hoping that the Beach Read will be that sort of book for me. So that's probably the arc that I'm most looking forward to reading. But I'm strict and I make myself read things in date order, so I have to wait for that one, unfortunately. And then were there any others? There's quite a few books that come out on the 9th of July. I don't know if they'll be delayed or not, but there's one called The Love Square by Laura Jane Williams, and it is 1 woman and 3 guys. So, and there's some sort of a romance there going on. She's single, but it doesn't mean that it's not complicated. So luck would have it, she's suddenly confronted with one remarkable man who wants to date her, followed by another and then another. So actually it's Penny who's been unlucky in love, and then there's 3 guys who come along like buses all at once. And I think that's quite nice. You know, I am not a fan of cheating, so I hope that things don't go too far with one of them and it's kind of got any elements of cheating in. But I quite like the idea of openly her look changing and her openly dating some guys. So so that one is also out on the 9th of July, so I'm looking forward to reading both of those. Okay, a book on your TBR that basically everyone has read but you, and that would be Brandon Sanderson's Skyward. I feel like everyone talks about it. What else? Oh, Daisy Jones and the Six, of course. Every man and his dog's read that. I've got the physical copy behind me, but I want the audiobook really, if I'm completely honest. I think I would get more enjoyment out of it from the audiobook, so I'd really like to have the audio version of that, but I can't be bothered to spend money on that one. I've got so many other things to read, so at some point I will get around to that, but that's something that everybody read. So the next question is a book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you. Okay, I've gone with 3 for different reasons. So first up is Daisy Jones and the Six, because like I said, everyone else has read it but me, so people are constantly telling me that I should read it because it's amazing. I really love this version that I've got. I think it's such a beautiful cover. So Daisy Jones and the Six, but also there's 2 other books that I picked up. This one is Jasper Fford's Shades of Grey, and the only reason I've said this is because we have a book club at work, and a few people have read it and a couple of us haven't, and the plan was that we were going to read this, but obviously we're no longer at work, so it was going to be a virtual book club, but I guess we started doing quizzes and various other things through work. So, but I am being constantly told, not by everybody, but just by a few people at work, that I need to bloody read this book because they want to talk to me about it. So I would like to read this at some point. And the final one is a classic, well, not a typical classic, but it's something that everybody has read, and that's The Book Thief. I've never read this, and as I said, I'm a mood reader, and I'm rarely in the mood for this type of book. I think I would really enjoy it if I read it, but yeah, there's got to be a time and a place for this one. This one isn't going to be one that I pick up. I tend to pick up a lot more sort of light-hearted romance or sci-fi fantasy type things. They're more my sort of books than books like this. So eventually, I'm hoping that I will eventually get to this, but this is something that everyone says that I should read. A book on your TBR that you are dying to read. There's quite a lot. I really want to read The Truth Witch. I want to read The Raven Boys. I have mentioned earlier on that I really want to read Skyward and Starsight. They're probably top of my list, if I'm honest. There's so many books that I want to get to. And the final question is, how many books are on your TBR shelf? So I'm going to put that up on the screen here somewhere. So this is how many books are on this shelf. I'm only going to do this physical shelf here. I'm not going to, I think I've got about 10 arcs at the minute. And I don't know how many books I've got. Someone recently sent me a link to daily alerts, or you can have them weekly, of books that are £1 or either free or up to £1 on Kindle and Kobo, and since then I've just gone a little bit crazy, and if it's free and I'm like, oh yeah, that might be alright, I'm adding it, because I'm like, well, I don't want to, in the future wish that I got it for free. So I've got so many in my Kindle and Kobo, and I need to get some sort of organisation system set up for that. I would love to know what's at the top of your TBR list, or what you think should be higher up my TBR list. I'm always up for recommendations, be that new books or books that people think I should bump up higher. So I'd love to hear from you. What's top of your list? What do you think I should have at top of my list? And yeah, I'm always looking forward to hearing from you guys. So thank you for watching, take care, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.